Welcome to another episode of Monster Monday from the Ready to Die channel. This series explores the design of a creature I have built for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The stat block for this creature can be found over on the Monster Monday blog, as well as the Twitter and Discord, all of which are linked below. This week, I follow the time-honored tradition of building something from a game that I've never played. That game is Code Vein, and that something is the Butterfly of Delirium, one of the first bosses faced in the game. All my knowledge of this game is secondhand, so I'll try to relate what I know the best I can. The Butterfly Delirium is one of the Lost, a scientifically created undead who succumbed to her bloodlust and been reduced to a ravening monster. Clips in this video are courtesy of Shy Binster, who you may have seen in the Monster Mash videos and can catch more of over on his Twitch channel I linked below. As mentioned, this is an early boss, but she's still a boss and I wanted to respect that by building her as at least level 7. Which is actually where they suggest to start include flying creatures. Obviously, as a Revenant she's going to be an undead, but I was inspired by her design and appearance, and wanted to include the Fey trait for her as well. Additionally, since she is a boss, she has the unique tag, but I could see having this be a more regularly encountered creature, and dropping that unique feature. For this particular build, I used a spellcaster roadmap as a guideline. I envisioned her as a charisma caster, and she will therefore use a high bonus for it, though her other mental stats are also solid. But she's also a very lithe creature. While she doesn't fly very high, flight seems to be her primary form of movement. As such, she'll use at least some moderate dexterity, though her other physical traits lag behind slightly. Given the rules of flight, the Butterfly of Delirium uses a high acrobatics skill, some thematic knowledge skills at a moderate bonus, and then finally a low athletics bonus because it's a generally useful skill that you want on a monster. The ability of flight provides a good deal of protection, allowing the Butterfly to remain out of reach of melee combatants. As such, she will utilize a moderate armor class and have hit points between the low and moderate range, helping her weather a few of the crits she may suffer with only that moderate AC. As a spellcasting type of creature, she leans towards using a high will save, and still makes use of a moderate reflex save since she has a decent dex bonus. However, because I always like designing these monsters with a weakness that can be exploited, she has a terrible fortitude save, as she does appear somewhat fragile. If she dares to get in the range of a grappler, she's in trouble. As an undead, the Butterfly of Delirium has a slew of immunities, but the character also has a weakness to fire, which I represented with a value in between the maximum and minimum for her level. Since I've built the Butterfly of Delirium as more of a spellcaster, she uses a low attack bonus for her strikes. In-game, she really only uses her tail jaws to attack with, but I wanted to expand upon that a bit. As such, she can attack with these tail jaws of course, and they deal moderate damage, and they have a little bit of poison damage adding in there. But she can also use her needle-like feet to kick out at people. These deal low damage, but also benefit from the agile trait. Finally, her poison darts are meant to represent the single orbs of poison that she fires out. With the range and safety of this attack, these deal only low damage, but I wanted to play into the focus of the character's use of poison, and included persistent poison damage on a critical hit with them. The poison in Code Vein doesn't seem to have any particular effects aside from dealing damage. As such, I refrained from using any poison afflictions with stages and all that stuff, and instead settled on persistent poison damage as a major factor in her kit. However, since I did design the Butterfly to be a spellcaster, I had to give her some spells. She uses a high DC and spell attack bonus, with a host of poison-focused spells. These are meant to bolster her abilities and provide her with some actual poison afflictions, such as her swarming wasp stings, imp sting, or spider sting. Despite her being a caster, the Butterfly does have a few attack patterns that she makes use of, and that I tried to represent through abilities. The Butterfly of Delirium will make a zigzagging charge with her tail leading the way, snapping at enemies as she goes. This is represented by her Ravenous Flight, which is extremely action efficient. A single action to fly and make 2 jaw strikes. However, this has the Flourish trait, limiting it to a single use per turn, and it uses a normal multiple attack penalty on the Butterfly's already low attack bonus. This helps balance out this ability, and I thought it was important for the Butterfly to have a unique third action to accompany her spellcasting. Alternatively, the Butterfly of Delirium will sometimes float in place before performing a spin where she swipes at enemies with her tail. This is represented with her Whirling Savagery, functioning akin to a barbarian or fighter's swipe, with a single attack roll against multiple enemies within reach. I kept this as 2 actions so that the Butterfly must then choose to land or spend an action to fly and stay aloft. The remaining trio of tactics for this toxic temptress focus on her use of poison, and the first of those is Breath Weapon. This represents the basic cone of poison that she launches, or the series of fire poison projectiles. It's a pretty standard damaging area effect with a high DC on a low cooldown, and damage in between unlimited and limited use. This is mainly to help differentiate it from the Butterfly of Delirium's next ability, Poison Shroud. This can be a fairly complicated ability, but the baseline of it is pretty simple. She merely hovers in place, shields herself to increase her AC to a high value, and then surrounds herself in poison that deals damage when enemies get too close. This specific effect is similar to the quills of a Pukwudgie, but deal poison damage instead to match the butterfly's thematic. The next part is where it may start to get a little confusing. After its initial activation, this has an effect similar to spells such as Horizon Thundersphere, Elemental Annihilation Wave, or Inner Radiance Torrent, where she can spend her next turn and its 3 actions to cast an explosion of poison around her. This poison deals high area damage, with persistent poison damage on a crit fail, and while also using an extreme DC, but these are all for a few reasons. The Butterfly of Delirium has to spend a total of 6 actions to pull this off, meaning that she can't just move and then unleash it. Likely, she gets one chance to do this before the heroes realize how bad it is to stand next to her when they see her doing it. And that feels appropriate for this type of creature, character, and this game that she originates from. This also has a long cooldown of 1d8 rounds, so she might not even get a second chance to use it. And with the area of this ability, she is also likely putting herself in range of some dangerous enemies. Finally, I love using the unique reactions in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It makes better use of the system than the immediate actions of 1st Edition did, and I thought I had a fresh and original idea, what I was really excited for, only to realize it was conceptually identical to the Pisco Daemon's Enhanced Venom. So, I referenced that ability, cleaned up my wording a bit, and expanded on the use of it since I did want to represent the Butterfly of Delirium as a boss monster. But with that, we've covered the Butterfly of Delirium. Pretty and pernicious, this passed away pixie pricks and prods people, pushing powerful poison through their parts. Conceptually, she's still a boss monster, and while she is encountered singularly in her game, she could be run alongside other poison-spreading enemies in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which would give her more chances to trigger her reaction. In such cases, she fares well hovering in the back, staying in the air and unleashing her abilities while her minions soak up hits and whittle down adversaries. You can check out the Monster Monday blog and Twitter for the stat blocks or hop on the Discord to join the monster making and general tabletop discussions. These posts also include a Pathfinder 1st Edition version of the monster, along with a D&D 5e conversion. Thanks for watching, and have a monstrous Monday.